Okay, so I'm going to talk about this phrase, you can't serve two masters. Okay? You can't serve God and money. And some of y'all still lost with modern constructs of commerce. Why is this important? I've been looking at people talking about finance and setting up this trust and that trust. Trust is used a lot. Some people say when trust was used in the Bible, it was talking about making a trust, paperwork. And I've been talking about this for a long time. Now, mind you, this right here, I didn't buy this. This was a gift. All right. And the only reason it became a gift is because I looked at someone for what they were in their life. This was someone who has an attraction towards me. All right. But like I've said before, with my discernment, I understand what this sacred energy is for when it comes to transmutation. All right. So I talk about that in my videos, especially two-spirited people out there. So let's go into the commerce aspect and what that has to do with this phrase, you can't serve two masters. Some of y'all is still functioning with money. Some of y'all still think we need more money or we need better politics. No, everything that we need is already in abundance. We don't, we especially don't have to overproduce. Okay. Now, because we are children of the Most High, God, the universe, however you want to call it, we are capable of creating systems that can flourish with these truths of life. So if the truth of life is that life is abundant, nature is abundant, I love to use the example over and over again that one strawberry has so many seeds in it, okay? And one of those tiny ass seeds, nature's candy, one of those tiny ass seeds can give you a plethora of strawberries. That's abundance. That does, but you see, what people do is that in commerce, the mammon or man-made construct, people see that and they're like, oh man, that's a lot of money. I can make a lot of money. What for? Because then I can use that money to go ahead and invest in other things. So I can create things like, for example, bioamplification accessories. All right. This, in a sense, is a bioamplification. All right. It's not full gold. All right. It's not completely gold, but we know that gold throughout different cultures is highly respected and revered for its energetic properties, such as even copper. Right? This is something God made, but not for money, not for a commodity, not for commerce and the way commerce is operating and also evolving as well, because people are already moving away from this concept that we need money. People are realizing that everyone's passions, whatever you like to do, create, our resourcefulness to make things out of the land and the materials of the land, everyone has the capacity to make exactly just what you need and to have exactly what you need without the need of overproduction. So it goes right back to the same reminder. You cannot serve God, life, love, okay, and money at the same time. I hear so many people, all right, so many financial gurus talking God, blah, blah, blah. And then they're talking about setting up a private family trust because that's how it's been done historically. And historically speaking, the religions are also operating out of these paperworks. And then they don't see past that bubble of paperwork. You see what I'm saying? They don't see past that bubble of paperwork. They're like, well, this is how it's always been done. So, we got to do it like this way. Who says that's how it's always been done? Who? Who? Did God say that? Did God say, you will make paperwork? Thou shalt make paperwork and establish trust and commerce. All right, y'all, mind the glitch there. Laptop timed out. But yeah, Some of y'all are saying, well, no, this commerce and these systems of commerce and these paperworks, it's all in the Bible. Oh yeah, it is in the Bible because people are still operating on such a low fucking frequency that instead of trusting each other and learning to love each other and learning the qualities that are taught in these books like love, forgiveness, etc., and in many different books across the freaking globe. The other, and just a side note for those people who want to be like, no, those other religions, you're again, if you can't keep up, just shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up, because you can't put a limit on God being able to present itself in any form and depending and sharing important timeless wisdom uh, to many different people of different nations in relation to what they understand and what they comprehend. Okay, so anyways, so yeah, no, now again, so now going back to the paperwork, people be like, it's people prance around or move around as if God said, "Thou shalt create paperwork," and that paperwork shall establish the kingdom. The kingdom's already established, yo. The realm, I don't even want to use kingdom because it's very masculine oriented, okay? But the holy divine realm is already established here on earth. Earth is divine, earth is abundant. Different medicines, tobacco being one of them, yes. Okay? Ganja being another one, yes. Mushrooms being another one, yes. Different teas being another one, yes. Green tea, oolong tea, lavender, the crystals. So no, this ain't about no religion. This is about how people confuse certain lessons in their religion books. This is a reminder, because I don't really need the reminder. I mean, I appreciate it when spirit, when I am guided to remind people. Okay, but yeah, some of y'all still on that. We need paperwork. You don't need no paperwork. Shit. Temporarily, yeah, I get it. Temporarily, I get why people are using the paperwork and proposals and this and that to create these entities so that they could get revenue, for example, so that they could buy land. But no land is for sale. Land was never for sale. Earth didn't say so. Here I am. Claim me and sell me and make lots of money. Because that is going to give you the wealth that I've already given you. Yeah, that makes sense, man. That makes total sense. The earth says, I give you all the wealth. God, the universe, life says, I give you all the abundance, even the wisdom and the knowledge and the joy and the fun and the expressions. Here, it's all available freely. You all have different passions that help connect these things so you can get everything that you want and create as much as you want in infinite love and creativity and harmonious abundance with nature and the animals who are our friends, family. And then y'all come along, and then some humans come along and be like, oh, thank you. We must create paperwork. Given humans history, yeah, they had to create some paperwork, but that does not mean that we don't have the potential, and that the potential to live without that kind of paperwork doesn't exist. It already existed. And it still exists. People plant trees in many different areas. There are trees of food and fruit planted in many different areas, and there's movements that are also functioning in commerce, all right, but are also very in tune with the comprehension that commerce is a man-made construct, at least the way it's done with the paperwork. Paperwork. We need more paperwork. Lord have mercy. I am one that, even though I am working on paperwork, my service And my purpose and intention behind all of it, and reason behind all of it, and goal behind all of it is very clear: to return right back to where we already are, this timeless realm of abundance and infinite creativity, along with combat sports, sexy battle time. Okay, learn how to transmute these energies, raise the kundalini, as they say. So yeah, if y'all still think, anyone who still thinks that we cannot function without these protocols, these paperworks, man, y'all still got some catching up to do. Some are who are utilizing these paperworks, they already are focused and are already in that presence that's here now everywhere. The presence that doesn't need the paperwork. But some of them tend to forget. You will, some of you will dedicate yourselves, like that phrase, what's that? Like the phrase says, you'll dedicate yourself to one and despise the other. At some point, like I've mentioned before, there's going to be a disconnect. And you're going to hit that crossroads, y'all. And y'all got to make a decision. Do we keep being distracted by this paperwork? Or do we actually take the physical action, the righteous action, to do what is right? Planting gardens, for example, defending life. Stop being a stander by or a bystander when, for example, anyone tries to act under a color of law, trying to deprive others of their rights. Stop being a bystander when there's emergency. Stop being a bystander. Someone needs a freaking like a good word. Use your discernment, duh. Just like the phrase says, don't cast your pearls to swine. And there's other phrases out there across different nations and different spiritual practices. What it's essentially saying, what it's essentially saying is use your discernment, because there are people who you will share and you will have good intentions to uplift them, but they don't want to hear it. So you don't want to waste your energy like that. That's what we call energy vampires. You have to wish them well, plant whatever seed you can, and then just keep it going and respect your energy. So, anyways, yeah. And be careful for religious fanatics, man. I've seen these religious fanatics. They try to come to me and they think that I need God, as if I don't walk with this God presence every time, every day, every moment. Don't get fooled by that shit. Don't let anyone try to psychologically, emotionally, intellectually fuck you up and sway you to think, especially when you know these truths and you're living by these truths and you're focused on these truths and you want to bring these truths and you're doing the work to bring these truths, you're doing the divine work to re-bring and to reestablish these truths without the need for paperwork, by doing things such as making a video to raise the awareness and educate others on what is law, what is commerce, what are these fantasy man-made constructs versus what is already our potential, what is available. You know, people still make amazing things happen without money. Some people actually use paperwork to make businesses grow with promises of equity. And then, of course, life blesses them with that. But what those people need to realize, I think one example is the guy, I think it's in Abu Dhabi, I forget his name, who created his mega project, quote unquote, his mega project, who has a mega project that he was leading, and he had no money. And he just had faith in his vision that life God granted him. And he promised these other business people and investors and sponsors that, hey, there'll be equity. I'll be able to share that stuff with y'all later. But trust it, because this is what I want and this is what's been given to me. That's what was given to him, and boom. As it is said, with all faith, it came to be. So did the money make it happen? Some people will argue, no, it was a promise of money. Whose vision? Who was given the vision of that project? Ah, so if he was given the vision of that project and he had to make it happen with no money, but he knew other people wanted to see money, then what was pushing him wasn't the money. What was pushing him was his passion for that project. It's just like many of you, you have a passion for certain things. All right? Gifts and talents. These are gifts given to you by life. Now, obviously, we can share in all kinds of gifts, and we all have many potentials. But the ones that are very like our the ones that are akin to, you can call them our primary abilities and strengths. You Those are given to you for a reason. So you can work on your other things that I wouldn't call them weaknesses, but you can work on bringing up and living your other passions. And this laptop is getting hot because the sun, beautiful sun. So we're done right now. Hope you learned something from that. Namaste. Peace.